Hi guys, it's me, Joseph again, and happy Halloween to all you guys who celebrate. Now, wondering what I should do for this next video that I will be dedicating to the month of Halloween, day of Halloween, in the month of October 2025. So, as per tradition, I am dressed up like the Grim Reaper, the Reaper of Souls, the dude with the attitude that ruined your weekend, or as other people know me, Steve. So I was wondering, what should I be talking about for this topic for this video? I was thinking about maybe doing a grim topic in my third video on pocket psychology on Necrophilia. This is a very interesting topic for me, and for other people that are, it's kind of like a taboo topic. So, before I get into it, I should tell you guys that this is a video on subject matter that will probably trigger you guys. Those who are sensitive to the topic of death, or the love of death, as necrophilia is called. I will give you guys a few minutes to change the channel, if you will. And being that I have many other videos on Halloween topics, spooky movies and songs and whatever, that you guys can look at for your own sake. And I got other stuff, two more videos that will come out later today on spooky / topics. So I'll give you guys a few moments to change to something else if you get triggered easily by talking about the deceased and necrophilia, or the love of the dead. Okay, so now we're going to be talking about necrophilia, or the love of the dead. Now, I know that the Greeks talked about 3 different types of love, and I'm only going to be speaking about 3 different types, because if I talked about all 8 or 9 types as pertain to this subject matter, I will be here until I become a real skeleton. So that's kind of out of the question. So now, what I'm going to say now is a trigger thing. So just warning you guys, we're all necrophiles on some level. And there are 3 different types that I found in my research. And most of them count for type 1, which is religious or spiritual reverence for the departed or the deceased. So now we have, in no particular order, because I wasn't sure about any of the paleontological or archaeological time periods for the type of religions when they began. So, okay, so we got ancient religions. It's type 1 so far. This is the I love. Well, okay, it's also part of the history portion of it, of the field. So now we got shamanism/ancestor worship. Your ancient Egyptian mummies/face masks. We have Hinduism and Buddhism, which believe in reincarnation of the deceased. We have Christianity, which believes in the crucifixion, the torture, the resurrection, the torture, crucifixion, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. So it's kind of like Christians are worshipping a dead person, like a zombie that was resurrected. Okay? We got the Mexican Day of the Dead, with the personification of death being La Muerta. Also, you should watch Coco and the Book of Life to get a good reference point for that. Where they offer food, personal objects, and prayers to the dead. You have voodoo. You have cemeteries, undertakers, and morgues and mortuaries, and the rise of taxidermy for pets. It helps people cope and remember the animals in question. And also note is that there are no humans involved with taxidermy. You can't go there and ask to have your great Aunt Grace taxidermy, because it doesn't look right when you do with humans. You have to have it perfectly right. You have to have it perfectly right when you do a human, and the way the taxidermist does the procedures doesn't come out quite right. Not for a perfection or art that you need for a human. The skills that they put quite there. Now, we also have many things in the pop culture references for this type of reverence for the dead. We have countless songs, movies, TV shows, etc. celebrating undead creatures like the Grim Reaper, Toledo, got Necron, you got thousands of others. I can't think of where else, something in my head. You got the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, the Grim Reaper with Jamaican accent. It's pretty fun, I recommend that one. All this is meant to desensitize people for talking about death and macabre subjects. like death, spirit, soul, the afterlife, etc., etc., etc. And then you got fictional serial killers that are based on a theme, the real monsters, like complete with furnishings and face masks plus fire suits. In the case of say Leatherface from the Texas Massacre movies, Norman Bates from Psycho, and you got Buffalo Bill from the Silent Hill movie. All of these have to do with death and necrophilia in some way, shape, or form. God did them. So many people always assume that gods are into cemeteries, they're into digging dead corpses, they're into like resurrection, satanic practices. sacrifice, all the other stuff too that associated with necrophiliacs. But that's not true. That's Hollywood and stereotypes going about it. I went to the website Vampire Freaks, and people told me that was one of the stereotypes about them. That into all that bad, negative stuff, and blood and everything else. And then there's the movie My Girl, with the girl Veda, in that she's surrounded by death all the time because her father is a mortician. So therefore she has a complex in her head where we think that something's wrong with her because she wants to join her mother in the afterlife. And that's called I forgot offhand what it is, but there's a medical term that means that you think that something's always wrong with you. Hypochondriac, yeah, that's hypochondriac. So she thinks that she wants death for herself, pretty much. And then we also have a thing called death as a friend, meaning that people who are necrophiles often believe that death is a friend to those who are sick or terminally ill, and that that death relieves the person of the suffering to be put into an eternal slumber where the person will get peace finally. And then we have type 2, where people are viewed as food. This is what people think of when they think of necrophiles. That they always, let's have little Timmy over there for dinner. Let's have Johnny over there for dinner. Let's snack on Emily over there. She looks good. Let's invite her for snacks. But it turns out to be ritualistic, and it's mostly featured in African tribes and mostly religious practices. It can also be found possibly in remote parts of South America or and it's to honor the deceased's strength, intelligence, or bravery. I believe it can also be manifested. There were a time of great starving or great lack of food. And then there's type 3, which is another thing that most people think when they think of necrophilia. And that'd be zombie snoo. And that'd be sex with corpses. And they use devices or funnels for the procedure. And they use perfume to get rid of the odor of rotting flesh. So now, we're going into the types and triggers for the subject matter of necrophilia for each type. For type 1, it's longing and a respect for the departed. That'd be the religious ceremonies where we honor the dead, like Jesus Christ, like all the fallen soldiers, all the fallen members of our family and friends, and maybe even our pets too, that we honor them. Type 1 is more spiritual loving more than physical loving. Now type 2 is random, it's not random killing. Like I said, it's not like you see someone down the road and you're hungry, you eat them. Or you chase them down and eat them. Not like they do in Hollywood movies. It's a ritualistic thing. More than likely, you probably know the person. It's probably your family or friends or other warriors that kind of thing usually happens to. And type 3, that'd be the sacred corpses. That'd be a psychological need for the sense of longing or loneliness or separation anxiety. But you will also have a desire for a partner who can't struggle and run away, say no, or judge you. Much more severe than your average person with those type of things. Now, from my own experiences, I already talked about gods and goddism from vampire freaks that people always associate from pop culture. Gothic people with, like, say, killing others, ritualistic death, possibly suicide, with manic depressed, with looking to people mentally psychotic, worship Satan, sacrifice for the devil, all things. Well, I view God more as a fashion trend than anything else. And also my mother too. Now, you've all known that on my childhood I talked about my mother's own passing. And my father used to do what things that I probably couldn't handle death if someone's close to me. So he kept me distant away from when my grandmother died. But when my mother passed away, I told him no, I want to be close to her as possible, as a son should be. And of course I was very sad and all that, and so was he. I never thought that man cried so much in my life. And he never saw me cry so much, I'm sure. Anyway, also, there's another thing too, is that, this is a very funny story, but, when I was in school, in elementary and in high school, my teachers at my master were so stupid that one day I forgot what the actual incident was about, but my mother had a joke around about me. She said, "Oh, if you don't behave yourself, I'll suck your brain out." So they probably thought that she was gonna be like a Jeffrey Dahmer type character or a woman like that, and she really would suck my brain for whatever reason. So they investigated on her about that. I have no idea why or what they were thinking, but they did it anyway. It was so stupid to do that I had to explain that it was only a joke. And then she rolled the mug on the crack of my head and put a big straw in it and then sucked out the marrow and the brain tissue. So that was really dumb but it was necrophilia type thing, like Jeff Dahmer or somebody else like that there and above. Now, back to the series talking about love of the dead. Now, as per usual, I made sure to put down the three types and whether they were safe and appropriate or not. So type 1, it is appropriate. It's natural and healthy and good to honor the dead and remember them for who they were, whether they be good, perfectly good or perfectly bad. It's to remember them for all their deeds and for bringing you into this world, whether they be parents or godparents or aunts, uncles, whatever. They raised you, they had influence on you, so it should be good to honor them. Type 2, that would be the type where you eat people under ritualistic cannibalism. No, it's not okay to do that. It's not appropriate or safe to do it because it's a social taboo. It's also a criminal behavior to go around robbing graves and doing like a Frankenstein buffet. It's also a more issue with taking someone else's corpse and using it for your own food source. If the person is a medical organ donor, that's acceptable, but not for personal enjoyment or nutrition, or for any other type of honoring it, that strength, that speed, the brain power, that sexual potency. Sometimes they did do that for that too, but that doesn't work. If someone smart dies and eat their brain or the heart or something, that doesn't automatically make me smart. That's more of a superstitious thing than anything else. Okay? Now also can also pass on tissue disease by the soft tissue, most notably as AIDS and HIV. So you can also, it's also known for carrying kuru, that deal monkey brains and ape brains. Not necessarily humans, but I could see why it can pass to humans. If you follow the diet of, say, the movie Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom, then food might be an issue. Again, it's mostly in the deepest, darkest parts of Africa where they have ritualistic eating of people and warriors and other things that nature. So also we have the physical aspect of loving, which is the sexual nature of necrophilia, the physical nature of loving. And that's a no-go too, because that's a social taboo. Having sex with people that are dead is criminal. You violate a corpse and they can't say no, and the owner, the family member that are still alive wouldn't want you to make sweet love to a dead corpse of the parent aunts, uncles, whatever, what have you. It's also disrespectful to the dead if you believe in afterlife. I don't think that those people in the afterlife are gonna let you mess around with the corpse without their permission. It's also very toxic because riding flesh can carry numerous amounts of bacteria and other animals can feast on it and then have feces and urine on it. So it's very unsanitary. Plus, you got embalming chemicals that deal with that are in processed after the funeral and stuff. After the mortician puts chemicals and embalming fluid or makeup and stuff like that. So to have that all inside you, to touch your private regions, it's disgusting. You don't want to do that. So now we have the three types. Number one would be spiritual, and I love that person because they were a good person. They were my family member. They were a religious prophet. They were a noble person. So I love them in the highest regard. Type 2, I love them because I want to eat them and gain their strength, knowledge, power, sexual potency, or anything else that physical or intelligent traits of them, and therefore I want to absorb it into my own self. And then type number 3 is that zombie looking pretty sexy. I want to fuck her or him, and I want to make little zombie babies with them. So that's kind of gross too. So my conclusions are that we are all necrophiles on some level. We'll have reverence for the dead in some way or another. We love the spirit, we love the intelligence, we love the strength, and other qualities about the deceased, the departed. It's all part of living life that we make attachments, and then when that person is gone, we have deep reverence for them, and we miss them. So it's all natural. But sometimes death is better. We should leave them alone. We shouldn't try to interfere with the natural order of things. We shouldn't try to resurrect them. Whenever we resurrect them, something always happens that cries out, whether that be them coming back as evil or possessed, or it might be an equivalent exchange issue, and we're not willing to pay the price of it. Or we shouldn't desecrate the land of the dead with all physical needs. When it comes to the physical attraction, okay, and we should keep the deceased in their own category of beings, not interfere with them whatsoever. Just honor them, respect them. I don't know where memes were coming to this. Where you can actually communicate with the dead. And so I probably will go into the first category because I don't see anything wrong with it. On a taboo level, or there's no death risk going on with you talking to your great aunt or your father or something that 3 years ago. I can't see that. Other problems, like, I would imagine that would be category type number one. So, I said here, honor the dead, but don't eat them, especially if I'm Deontay. And unfortunately, I can't do that. That little lizard slot that Hannibal does. But it's so funny. It should be known too is that when Hannibal the cannibal kills people, he eats them. He doesn't kill them anything. He eats them while it's alive. At least in the movie. Same with people in the Hustle franchise. Whenever they eat people, they actually show them alive and well, presumably until chow time is coming around. And one more thing, the way to have them live on is to never stop loving them. Obviously not in a physical sense, but in a spiritual, honoring them and loving their achievements and their personality and the way they laugh and the cooking too. Except when it comes to meatloaf. Or meatloaf is evil. Not even I will touch it as the Grim Reaper. And by the way, that quote, the way to have them live on is to never stop loving them. That was on the crow. And sometimes dead is better comes from Pet Cemetery, the book and the movie. So yeah. So if anybody has any more comments, questions about necrophilia or the love of the dead, contact me about that. Also, I had a hard time with talking about this subject, not because I don't find it interesting, or because I personally have a thing about death with my mother and grandmother and stuff like that, but because it was just so hard to differentiate death with the process of dying and talking about that versus the Grim Reaper or the Reaper of Souls or any number of incarnations of the character or hell for that matter. Because the Grim Reaper is like one of the guys that does his job, whether it be good or bad or friendly or whatever. So, yeah. Now, let me know if you like this video. It did this for Halloween month. It just so happened to be the day of Halloween, or All Souls Day. Have a happy Halloween in October in 2025. If you like what you hear and want to see more of my videos, always like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. You can also contact me for future videos, future information on stuff by calling me or texting me at 631-707-3707. And if you want, you can follow me on Twitter, or actually prefer to call that at PMessenPro. Also, you can get me on my email at jjsviewingchannel@gmail.com. So, as all you guys who like psychology and pocket psychology talking about this subject, please tell me what like the ghouls and goblins are today. And happy Halloween to all you guys and girls in ancient land. We'll see you in the next video. Sayonara, Venus and Arrivederci, bonsoir, and have a good one. And don't eat too much candy after Halloween. And by the way, I think one day I will talk about these various holidays like Halloween, All Saints Day, the Day of the Dead, in a little more detail one day during the appropriate time. And see ya.